Have you ever felt that others are manipulating you? Today, we will explore 9 Stoic lessons on how to avoid being controlled by people, even if it happens unconsciously. The Stoics teach us that true freedom comes from within. By understanding your emotions and reactions, you can free yourself from external manipulation. Manipulation is a subtle yet powerful tactic used in personal and professional relationships, often employing strategies such as guilt, fear, and misinformation. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes the importance of recognizing these strategies and cultivating critical thinking. The first step in protection is identifying signs of manipulation, such as emotional arguments that evoke guilt. Setting clear boundaries and confidently expressing expectations is crucial in preventing manipulation. Additionally, having a support network of friends and family can help clarify perceptions and strengthen emotional resilience. Ultimately, developing self-confidence and healthy self-esteem makes a person less susceptible to external pressures, making it easier to guard against manipulation. Are you being manipulated against your will? Now, let's learn about the different types of manipulation and how to avoid them. 1. Emotional manipulation. This is one of the most common forms of manipulation. Emotional manipulation involves using feelings and emotions to influence another person's actions. This type of manipulation can manifest in a variety of situations, from personal relationships to workplace interactions. By using emotions such as fear, guilt, or even love, a manipulator can exert subtle control, causing the other person to act according to their desires and interests. For instance, in romantic relationships, one partner may use guilt to compel the other to meet demands they otherwise wouldn't accept. Phrases like, "If you truly love me, you will do this for me," are clear examples of this technique. Emotional pressure not only distorts perception of reality, but also undermines the victim's self-confidence, creating a vicious cycle of dependence. In a professional environment, emotional manipulation can be just as damaging. For example, a boss may exploit an employee's insecurity by making comments that imply they are incapable of performing their tasks without help. This can lead the employee to become more susceptible to excessive requests or even agree to take on more work without fair compensation. Recognizing emotional manipulation is the first step toward self-protection. It is essential to develop the ability to identify these behaviors and strive for healthy relationships and environments where communication is based on mutual respect and honesty. While emotional manipulation can be destructive, with awareness and support, it is possible to break this cycle and foster more balanced relationships. 2. Emotional manipulation. Examples of emotional manipulation include guilt, fear, shame, and pity, emotions that are often used for manipulation. These feelings, while an inherent part of human nature, can be distorted and weaponized in interpersonal relationships. When someone feels guilty, for instance, their tendency is to find a way to atone for this guilt, often yielding to the demands of the person who makes them feel this way. Fear, in turn, can lead to hasty decisions, as a person acts not according to their true desires, but to avoid an undesirable outcome. Shame is a powerful suppressor. It can cause people to withdraw, allowing others to control them without even realizing it. Pity, often confused with empathy, can be a cunning tool of manipulation. By invoking compassion, a person can achieve their desired outcome, even at the expense of those involved in this emotional game. Thus, these emotions are often intertwined in power dynamics, where one person's vulnerability becomes the lever for another. Marcus Aurelius, with his Stoic wisdom, reminds us of the importance of controlling our emotions and not allowing them to become instruments in the hands of others. The awareness that these feelings can be used manipulatively is key to establishing healthy relationships. By becoming more conscious of these dynamics, we can learn to resist this type of manipulation, fostering more genuine and respectful communication. True strength lies in recognizing and understanding our emotions, turning them into allies rather than weapons. 3. How to avoid emotional manipulation. Establish clear boundaries, be self-assured, and don't be afraid to say no. This phrase by Marcus Aurelius resonates deeply in a world where social pressure and expectations can easily compel us to yield. In our quest to please others, we often overlook the importance of prioritizing our own needs. Setting clear boundaries is crucial for maintaining mental and emotional health. When we know the limits we can go to, we can interact more healthily in our relationships. Well-defined boundaries help us effectively communicate our needs, allowing others to understand and respect our space. This doesn't mean being selfish. On the contrary, it is an act of self-love that benefits everyone around us. Being self-assured is another essential skill. This involves expressing our thoughts and feelings directly and honestly, without belittling ourselves or attacking others. When we are self-assured, we build healthier relationships where everyone feels heard and respected. This open communication helps avoid misunderstandings and creates a conducive atmosphere for dialogue. Finally, having the courage to say no is one of the most liberating aspects of establishing boundaries. Often, the fear of disappointing others prevents us from staying true to ourselves. However, every no we say in defense of our needs is a step towards self-respect. It's important to remember that every time we prioritize ourselves, we are not only caring for our own well-being, but also setting a positive example for those around us. In conclusion, by establishing clear boundaries, being self-assured, and not hesitating to say no, we allow ourselves to live authentically and in harmony. 4. Logical manipulation, the art of persuasion. The art of persuasion often involves the use of logical arguments that are fundamental to convincing someone to accept a certain idea or take a specific action. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most influential Stoics, believed that reason is the most powerful tool we have for overcoming life's challenges. He stated, "The life of every man is what his thoughts make of it." This thought invites us to reflect on how our thoughts and arguments shape the reality around us. When we strive to persuade someone, the clarity and consistency of our arguments are crucial. Logical arguments not only justify our opinions, but also establish a connection with the listener, allowing them to see the rationality of our proposal. For instance, by presenting data and concrete evidence, we can help the person better understand the situation, guiding them toward a conclusion more in line with ours. Moreover, it is important to recognize that each individual has a unique structure of values and beliefs. Therefore, when crafting our arguments, we must consider the perspectives of the other party. Empathy plays a key role in this process. By understanding their concerns and motivations, we can adapt our arguments to resonate more deeply. Ultimately, persuasion based on logical arguments is a valuable skill. It not only helps us achieve our goals, but also fosters healthy and constructive dialogue, where ideas are discussed and assessed fairly. When we approach persuasion with honesty and respect, we contribute to creating an environment where reason and mutual understanding can thrive. 5 examples of logical manipulation. Logical fallacies, such as appeal to authority and appeal to ignorance, are often used to manipulate public opinion and skew discussions. An appeal to authority occurs when someone attempts to support an argument simply by referencing an authority figure, without considering the validity of the reasoning behind the claim. This technique is frequently employed in political debates and advertising, where mentioning experts or celebrities can influence people's perceptions, even if the argument presented lacks a solid foundation. On the other hand, an appeal to ignorance is based on the idea that a statement must be true simply because it hasn't been disproven. This fallacy exploits people's lack of knowledge or uncertainty, leading them to accept an idea as true simply because there is no opposing evidence. This strategy is particularly effective in contexts where information is scarce or complex, making individuals more susceptible to simplified narratives that seem to offer definitive answers. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's great thinkers, emphasized the importance of critical thinking and rational reflection. He believed that reason is a powerful tool that can help us distinguish truth from false arguments. In a world where logical fallacies are often used to manipulate, it is crucial to develop the ability to ask questions and analyze the information we receive. Only then can we protect ourselves from misleading rhetoric and make more informed and reasoned decisions. 6. To avoid logical manipulation. Think critically, question assumptions, and don't be afraid to demand evidence. These words from Marcus Aurelius remind us of the importance of independent thinking and the search for deeper truths in a world flooded with information and opinions. We live in an age where misinformation can spread rapidly, making the ability to think critically not only valuable, but vital. When we encounter claims, whether from friends, the news, or leaders, it is essential to analyze what is being said. By asking ourselves questions like, what evidence supports this claim? Or is this assumption really true? We take an important step towards forming an open and informed mindset. We should not accept information simply because it comes from a trusted source. True wisdom lies in questioning, exploring, and seeking concrete evidence. Demanding evidence should not be seen as a sign of distrust, but as an exercise in intellectual responsibility. By questioning, we expand our understanding and challenge the status quo. This does not mean we should be skeptical of everything, but we must be selective and critical about what we accept as truth. Furthermore, by adopting such a stance, we also encourage deeper and more meaningful dialogue with those around us. When we ask questions and demand evidence, we open the door to discussions that can lead to new perspectives and creative solutions. Therefore, as you reflect on the words of Marcus Aurelius, remember, the path to knowledge and truth begins with a critically minded and curious mind. 7. Social manipulation, social pressure and influence on actions. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, highlighted the importance of reason and self-discipline against human emotions. He understood that social pressure is a powerful force capable of shaping behavior and decisions. Society often imposes expectations that can compel individuals to act against their deepest beliefs. By allowing these pressures to govern us, we risk sacrificing our integrity for the sake of acceptance. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that true strength lies in our ability to resist such external influences. He urged us to look within ourselves, to question our motivations, and to act according to reason rather than succumbing to social impulses. As we observe the world around us, we notice that many adhere to accepted patterns of behavior. This can lead to hasty or even harmful decisions. The desire to be accepted may drive us to make choices that do not reflect our true beliefs. Stoic philosophy, which advocates the pursuit of virtue and wisdom, serves as a guide in combating this pressure. Rather than yielding, we can learn to say no and remain steadfast in our principles. Therefore, when faced with social pressure, it is essential to remember Marcus Aurelius's words. The life of each is what they think of it. We need to cultivate a strong mind capable of discerning what is genuinely important from the distractions imposed by society. 8. Social manipulation. Examples of social manipulation. Conformity, obedience to authority, and the need to belong to a group are common forms of social manipulation. These dynamics are fundamental to understanding how individuals can be compelled to act against their principles, especially in situations where a group or authority figure exerts strong influence. Conformity manifests when a person adopts the prevailing behaviors or beliefs of their social environment, even if they do not reflect their true opinions or values. This tendency can be observed in various contexts, such as school, work, or even social media, where the pressure to conform to group norms can lead to conformity, even if it means forsaking personal beliefs. Obedience to authority, in turn, is a phenomenon that has been widely studied by psychologists like Stanley Milgram, who demonstrated that individuals can act against their morality when instructed by an authority figure. The results of his experiments illustrate how obedience can provoke harmful behaviors, as people often justify their actions in the presence of a controlling figure. Moreover, the need to belong to a group is an intrinsic motivation that significantly influences our decisions. Emotional connection and the desire for social acceptance can lead individuals to sacrifice their own beliefs and values for the sake of belonging. When we feel part of a group, collective norms can overshadow our autonomy, causing us to drift away from what we genuinely believe. These aspects highlight the importance of developing critical thinking and social awareness, allowing individuals to resist manipulation and maintain their personal integrity in the face of social pressure. 9. Social manipulation. How to avoid social manipulation. Be independent. Think for yourself, and don't be afraid to be different. Independence is a virtue to cultivate from an early age. The ability to think independently means not succumbing to others' opinions, especially in a world saturated with information and voices. Each of us possesses a uniqueness that should be celebrated. as it is what makes us truly human. The courage to be different is an act of resistance against conformity. We live in a society that often values uniformity, where expectations and norms can be stifling. However, those who dare to be authentic carve new paths and inspire others to do the same. Embracing our differences not only liberates us but also enriches the world around us. It is in the nuances of our individualities that we find the true beauty of life. Authenticity also brings with it a profound sense of inner peace. When we act in accordance with our own beliefs, we forge a stronger connection with ourselves. This connection guides us in moments of uncertainty and provides us with the strength needed to overcome challenges. Thus, independent thought is a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of life. And here we are at the end of this video. I want to thank each of you for being here and for accompanying me on this journey of reflection. I invite you to think about how you can develop this independence in your life. What does it mean for you to be true to yourself? Remember, being different is not a burden, but a gift, both for you and for the world. If you enjoyed the content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters, and I would love to hear how you are working on being true to yourself. See you in the next video.